Capcom. Also, rather than doing Resident Evil 2 justice and giving us a faithful remake like they did in 2002 with Resident Evil 1, Capcom instead decided to spit in the face of the original and the fans who made the franchise popular in the first place. For that, I'm adding a sin for every year we had to wait for this game. Look at all this DLC. Remember in RE1 Remake when you could unlock extra skins by playing the game? Well, here you gotta pay for them. Being able to buy unlocks rather than actually earning them is an absolute disgrace. This sin is mainly for the people who bought this shit. You suck dick at the game, simple. Which is fine, but if you buy this, then you should be ashamed. The fact that you have to pay for the original soundtrack is worthy of 10 sins. I'm also adding another 10 sins for the people who allow Capcom to get away with this type of buttfuckery. The Resident Evil community are the biggest corporate puppets I've ever seen in my life. No hype package when starting up the game. The scenarios are completely watered down compared to the original and barely even differ from one another. For example, the A and B scenarios used to have their own unique boss fights, but in this they're the same, with the exception of the final bosses. Another thing is the zapping system. Remember where you could make a choice to leave the SMG and side pack for Claire? No such thing in the remake. There's 4 scenarios, so here's 4 sins. No Resident Evil narration when starting up a new game. Just one of the many things cut from the game that makes this remake so fucking soulless. And yeah, I know it's included in the soundtrack swap, but since you have to pay for it, I'm counting it as cut content. No recap of Resident Evil 1 during the opening. Come on, that shit was cool. With the narration? Why not include it? Oh wait, laziness? Oh okay. No fixed camera, instead of generic over-the-shoulder perspective, one of the many examples of Capcom catered to casuals who want everything to play the same. People who say fixed camera angles and tank controls are outdated just suck. If you're too lazy to learn something different, then go play one of the million third-person horror games out there. By getting rid of the fixed camera, you've taken away like 50% of the game's horror, so fuck you, here's 50 cents. Leon looks like Justin Bieber.
Hello? Anybody there?
Leon's new voice actor sucks ass. Why didn't they get Paul Mercer or something? Or even Matthew Mercer? Personally, if it was up to me, I would have gone with the original voice actor, but sadly he passed away. Shame. One of the most iconic voices in the series. Also, Leon in general was just completely fucking ruined in this game. Boring personality, forgettable quotes, looked and sounded like a complete stick bundle, just one of the many butchered characters in these current day remakes. Plus 10 sins for ruining one of the best characters in the series. Although I will remove a sin for Leon's outfit in this game, it's actually pretty good. A nice change to the original while still remaining faithful. They even have the original RPD suit as an unlockable, just how it should be. So Leon's new outfit is pretty good, right? But Claire's new outfit sucks. You know, I would have actually removed a sin for her original outfit, but since parts of her are missing, like the sleeves and gloves, I'm going to add a sin instead. Also, an additional 10 sins for another iconic character ruined. Everything about this version is garbage. In the original, in Claire's B scenario, it actually shows how Claire got to the point where she goes through that door and Leon saves her. But in the remake, she gets off the phone, then it just cuts to her barging through the door with zombies everywhere. Same with Leon B. Now the reason for that is because if you watch up until they go through that gate, you'll notice that it's been edited to speed up the intro, like some of the scenes have been removed, like that truck driver one for example, which is fine because we've already seen them in the A scenarios, but these parts here in the B scenarios make no sense. Nowhere in the game does it ever show how Leon and Claire got from here, where everything's calm, to bursting through that door on alert with zombies and shit everywhere. The area before you reach the RPD is much shorter in the remake. No gun shop, no alleyways, no basketball court, no bus, just a linear run to the RPD. You do meet Kendo in the gun shop later, but there's no "hold your fire, I'm a human." How can you remove an iconic quote like that? In fact, I'm adding 3 sins for every cut quote that should have been in the remake. Or at least some of them. Let's go through them, shall we?
Hold your fire! I'm a human!
By the time I noticed something was wrong, The entire city was infested with zombies.
It's good to see you're still among the living.
Get that scum. Make him pay.
Those zombies are everywhere, not to mention that thing that got Ben. Is it just me, or does everybody always ignore what I say?
No zombie Brad. Why can't you go back outside once you enter the RPD? You could in the original. Fuck your limitations. So I mentioned before that you have to pay for the original soundtrack, but if that's not bad enough, the music for the remake is a complete joke. In fact, most of the game doesn't even have music, it's just silence. The original RE2 had one of the best soundtracks of any horror game ever. This game has one of the worst. Another 10 cents. This stupid flashlight. Also, the reason you need a flashlight is because the game is so fucking dark. And no, it doesn't make the game scarier. The game isn't scary whatsoever. It's funny as well because they put so much time into these fancy graphics, like, what's the point if you're just going to hide it behind all this darkness? I don't care what anyone says, when it comes to graphics, lighting, visuals, RE1 Remake absolutely shits on this game. It may not be as realistic, but it's a hell of a lot more appealing to look at. Realism doesn't make something better, it just makes it more realistic. Double sin. The typical modern day hold button / push forward on the stick to advance trope. Stop adding this horseshit to games, it's fucking pointless. Unlike the original, Marvin doesn't tell Leon about what happened in Resident Evil 1.
What happened?
About 2 months ago, there was this incident involving zombies in a mansion located in the outskirts of this city.
Bring in the defense items from RE1 Remake in the form of the knife was a good addition. I even like the change to the knife by giving it durability and making it actually useful compared to the original where it was practically worthless. So I'll have to remove it then. No door cutscenes, which means zero build-up when entering a new room. Some people think they're just a loading screen, but there's so much more than that. It adds suspense, psychological horror when going through a door, makes you wonder what's ahead, gets your mind racing, but that's the thing, it's just like fixed camera angles. People see it as a limitation when in reality, it's fucking genius. I can agree that it gets annoying on subsequent playthroughs, like when you're going for an A rank or something and you just want to go fast, but at least give us the option to turn them on or off. That way everybody's happy, right? Actually, never mind, they probably add it as a DLC, $2.99 if you want door cutscenes, plus 10 cents. No on-screen text when interacting with the environment, let you know what the characters are thinking, while also adding to the immersion. Instead, you get dialogue during gameplay, which, in my opinion, shouldn't be a thing in horror games. A silent protagonist during gameplay adds to the experience, makes you feel alone and uneasy. Hearing someone speak provides comfort and ruins that. Also, interactable environments are practically non-existent in this game. The zombie's stupid roaring. What happened to the creepy moaning from the classics? So in the original, they have that scene where zombies reach through the boarded up windows, but it isn't in the remake for some reason, which doesn't make any sense considering they have those boards that you can put up over the windows. Like, I get they're supposed to keep the zombies out, but they could still have it so that the zombies can reach through the boards and grab you if you get too close. Could be a way of bringing back this moment using the new mechanic. What a shit remix. Not only that, but it stops playing after like 10 seconds and never plays again after that. What the fuck? For 10 seconds of shitty music, here's 10 cents. That's not a red herb game, that's a pink herb. How do you fuck that up? Weapon modifications are nothing new to the series, but the way they're more prevalent in this game was a nice change. Another sin removed. Although I'm adding that sim back as the shotgun, even when fully upgraded, is nowhere near as cool as the super shotgun from the original. When a game from 1998 has better gun sounds, you know you're fucked up. Absolutely pathetic. I've heard paintball guns that sound more impactful. The bow gun was cut. I understand it wasn't very useful, but why not buff it instead of just getting rid of it? Like, maybe you could take the explosive bolts from Code Veronica. It would make sense considering you can craft ammo in this game, but why do something cool like that when we could just cut it instead? Plus 5 cents. There's flame and acid rounds, but no grenade rounds for some reason. The headshot sound effect sounds like a water balloon. Take some notes from RE4 or Gears of War for fuck's sake. Now that's how a headshot should sound, not this fucking garbage. It can sometimes take like 6 to 8 bullets to get a stun on a zombie, even with focused headshots. This is mainly on hardcore, but it's still dumb nonetheless. No severed torsos when shooting zombies with a shotgun. Look how fucking cool that is. The most you can sever in this game is a limb. Pfft, weak. Also, no pools of blood round dead zombies. The original RE2 shows how the helicopter crashed, but the remake doesn't show shit.
Claire! It's so nice to see you.
How are you doing? That helicopter just came out of nowhere.
I'm in one piece.
I'm guessing you don't have a key in one of those fancy pockets?
Unfortunately, no. But how are you doing?
You know, just surviving.
That's good.
Shitty, boring dialogue. This applies to the entire game, so rather than pointing out each example, I'm just going to add 20 sins. The script is straight trash, soulless and boring. The redesign of the map is nice, reminds me a lot of RE1 Remake. Keeping track of puzzles and items once you discover them is really convenient. Makes it so you don't forget about them. Sin removed. Pathetic jump scares. The absence of fixed cameras means we don't get this amazing camera angle, giving the player the feeling of being watched after seeing the liquor crawl across the window in the previous room. The build-up for the liquor is practically non-existent, whereas the original has a ton, which makes the reveal so memorable. You've got the liquor crawling across the window, the amazing camera angle through the window, giving you the feeling of being watched, the decapitated corpse on the ground, the blood dripping down from the ceiling, and finally, the iconic cutscene. In the remake, the liquor crawls across the window, and that's it. Then he shows up a bit later with no cutscene. Plus 10 sins. Although sneaking past the liquors is a cool addition. Minus 1 sin. Leon and Claire don't meet up in the office, and in general have less interactions than the original, especially since Leon doesn't even give Claire the walkie-talkie in the remake. The stupid fucking flashing during death scenes, like, can I actually see what's happening please? Fucking hell, that shit's annoying. Also, the death scenes are lame as fuck. Not only do most scenes fade out before you can see the gore, but some scenes will even position the camera so that you can't see what's happening. Don't believe me? Here's a few examples. Like, what the fuck is this pussy shit? This is an 18 plus game for fuck's sake. Go all out. Show Leon getting his guts ripped out and eaten or something, or his limbs torn off one by Mr. X as he screams in agony. Have some creativity. Have some balls. These death scenes are embarrassing. Double sin. Why the fuck can you save infinitely on lower difficulties? Obviously there should be more ink ribbons compared to hardcore, but unlimited saves? And checkpoints too? Really? Fucking casual scum. Birkin's ridiculous groaning, man, that shit is laughable. Also, just like the liquor, the first encounter with Birkin has barely any build-up. All you have is this part here where you can hear him running above you, making his retarded noises. In the original, you have the scene in the prison, which isn't in the remake, and also the flashback, which is in the remake, but isn't until the end of the game, when you've already bumped into him like 4 times and had 2 boss fights. So yeah, +5 sins. Ada's rapey trench coat.
FBI, huh? What's going on here?
Sorry, that information's classified.
Ada's voice in this game is absolutely horrendous. I know replacing the original will be tough since her voice was so iconic, but at least try. This sounds like some random generic American woman. +10 sins. Although I will remove a sin for Ada's new dress, that shit is legit, I won't lie. Really suits her character.
Where you going?
Do yourself a favor. Stop asking questions and get the hell out of here.
What's with Ada's bitchy attitude in this game? I mean, yeah, she's always been a little feisty, but never bitchy. If she talked to me like she talks to Leon sometimes, I'd slap that whore across her mouth. Ben's death was way better in the original. Look at that. That's fucking awesome. The level design in this game is actually really good, and by far the best thing about it. It's got puzzles, exploration, backtracking, interconnecting paths, optional areas, everything you need level design wise in the Resident Evil. It doesn't make up for all the other problems, but I'll remove a few sins.
Marvin! Oh no. Damn it!
Do I even need to say anything? That is the definition of a downgrade right there. Imagine how cool this scene could have been with updated graphics, seeing Marvin turn with that awesome music playing in the background. What a waste. +10 sins for this disgraceful recreation. Remember that cutscene in the original that showed Mr. X dropping from that helicopter? Well, here he just shows up out of nowhere with no build-up. Then again, build-up is non-existent in this game. How can you have a horror game without build-up? It's the same shit as before with the Licker and William Birkin. +5 sins. Mr. X in his stupid fucking hipster hat. Look at this muppet. He's supposed to be scary and intimidating, yet they made him into a complete joke. Due to the absence of fixed camera angles, this scene here is nowhere near as impactful. What do I mean by that? Well, in the original, when you're looking through the camera, you can see Mr. X in a place that you had just been not long ago, which is made clear by the fixed camera. It tells you that he's nearby, but in the remake, you can't even tell where he is. Like, where the fuck is he? He could be on the other side of the building for all I know. It's just terrible in comparison. Also, since Mr. X is in the A scenario now, why is this scene only in the B scenario? I already mentioned there's like no build up for this dude, so you'd think they need all the help they can get. You used to be able to kill Mr. X in the original, and he'd even drop ammo, but in the remake, he's invincible. I mean, killing him wasn't the most practical thing to do, but at least you had the choice. And lastly, having Mr. X follow you around constantly is a terrible design choice, whereas in the original, he doesn't appear too often, which makes his sudden appearances feel special and unexpected. You never know when he's going to show up, which keeps you on edge. Great psychological horror. But in the remake, he's just up your ass constantly, which gets repetitive, and rather than being scared, you just grow annoyed of having to run away constantly so you can lose him, just for him to show up a minute later and repeat the cycle. They really missed the mark on what made him so great in the first place. No unique items for the characters. Leon doesn't have his lighter, nor does Claire have her lockpick. Something that used to make the playthroughs a little different from one another. For example, Claire could open certain locks straight away, whereas Leon had to find the small keys, but yep, not in the remake, so... Demoting the alligator to an on-rails running away section. I know there wasn't much more to it in the original, but I just hate these types of modern gaming tropes. So they wanted to extend Ada's section in the remake, which I like, but the fact that it's some shitty Arkham Asylum detective bullshit is earning it a sin. This shit is fucking boring. Ada's bitch slap was removed. They removed one of the best scenes from Claire's campaign, and now all you can do is look at the body in game for a few seconds before moving on and forgetting all about it. Same shit as Marvin, an absolute disgrace. Another 10 cents. Sherry's gameplay section is exactly what I hate about stealth segments. Sneaking around, hiding, waiting, repeat, with no option to fight back. I don't know why so many games do this nowadays, but it's fucking garbage. Since Chief Irons has Ben's death in this with the tentacle shit through the mouth, you think they could have had that cool scene where his body splits in half, but nope, because why the fuck would they? Also, Chief Irons' death was way better in the original. Not only is it more brutal, but seeing his severed torso fly up out of that hole after being dragged down there by Birkin is another amazing scene in Claire's campaign. The orphanage was a cool addition. Shame it was mainly used for that shitty Sherry section, but I'll remove a sin nonetheless. So RE1 Remake added Crimson Zombies and Lisa Trevor. Cool additions to the game, right? So did RE2 Remake do the same and add new enemies as well? Fuck no, it removes them instead. 5 sins for each one. Fuck you, Capcom. Lazy cunts. Ninja zombies. You can never fight any zombies with Ada like you could in the original. It didn't last long, but why not extend it? Maybe she could have helped you with one of the G fights or something. That could have been cool.
She is my creation!
Birkin's temper tantrum. Also, how fucking ass is Birkin's rampage compared to the original? My god, is there anything they didn't just completely fuck up in this game? Double sin. Mr. X falling into that lava pool in the original was a cool moment. Reminded me of Terminator 2, and it actually had some horror to it as well, with his mutated claw reaching out. His transformation in the remake though is just action with explosions and shit. You know, before making this video I didn't realise just how much Mr. X sucks in this game. Fuck this guy. Fucking lame fedora wearing bitch. Claire's creepy ass smile.